1 bet, 2 bet, 3 bet, 4. Omega brought in a big score.
Oh Lord, here we go with the counting.
I did that just for you, Drew.
The defective clones with desirable mutations.
Andrew still hasn't gotten a
New intro yet?
new
It's like super quiet.
I
They
didn't
call
turn it up.
themselves the Bad Batch.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another Bad Batch-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And we are back with Bad Batch, Season 3, Episode 4, A Different Approach. Do you have a button? No, I guess not. Too late now. Boo. Boo. You had one job, Drew.
I know, my bad.
But we are back. And this is going to be a shorter episode because it wasn't 3 episodes like last week.
True.
So hopefully everyone listening has watched the first 3 episodes.
I would assume if you're listening, you have. Or you at least listened to our breakdown and we spoiled it for you.
That too. But
remember the days where like we got the Mandalorian like months before like Australia and stuff?
I vaguely remember that from season
season 1, I think.
But anyway, before we jump into the episode, I had a Q&A.
Oh, you did?
From last. We haven't done a Q&A for like stuff like this in a while. So my question that I posted on Spotify was, is Grogu currently at the Mount Tantus facility? And we got 4 answers.
Okay.
Addie says, nope, he's safe and sound with that other Jedi dude.
Good answer.
Kelleran Beck.
Jar Jar, but yeah, keep going.
Lynn the Psychic.
So, they probably know things we don't know.
Probably know the answer is no, he isn't.
Oh, dang it.
Aaliyah says, I don't think so. Who's going to break him out? Question mark.
That's a good point.
If Tech is there. Point. If Tech is there. Well, based on this episode of Bad Batch, Omega wants to go back and free the other clones. So
yeah, that's true. What if Omega releases Grogu?
That'd be cool. And then passes Grogu off to like Rex, and then Rex does something,
hides him, and then loses him.
Yeah. And then Jacob with a K, not a C, says yes. Also Tech. Yes, also is Tech and Snoke. Could be. Well, Tech is definitely there. Snoke, he's in the early phases of being made, or
he's like an eyeball.
There's some prototypes of Snoke being made, because we do see in episode 9 on what's the name? Where is Palpatine hand? What's the name of that place? The planet? I can't remember. Whatever. There's other bodies that look exactly like Snoke. So Snoke isn't the only one. So, so we just had the 4 people. So I think Grogu's there, but who knows? We'll see. Some other time. Too. Hopefully, we'll get those answers sooner than later. But we're not here for the Grogu. We're here for episode 4. So
I was gonna say, Jeremiah, you're never here for Grogu.
Yeah, I'm never here for Grogu. But we're here. Bad Batch season 3, episode 4, A Different Approach. So we might as well just jump into it. Drew, what were your overall thoughts of this episode?
It was alright.
It's alright?
Yeah. Like, up until like the last scene, I was like, oh, this is...
Which was intense.
Yes, last scene like saved the episode for me. But I was like, oh, it's just kind of like a filler episode.
I thought it was a filler episode.
I don't know. Like, what did we get? They earned money to get another ship, but then
but
they didn't.
It's building relationship with Crosshair, bringing him back in the fold. Omega learning to trust him and his skills so they can work as a team.
I'm not saying it's not an unnecessary filler episode, but
well, that's what a filler episode is. It doesn't add anything to push the story forward.
It just like, I feel like we built a lot of the relationship knowing that she saw him every day for like 160 days, you know, like.
Yeah, but there was only so much that they could do when one was behind bars, and he never wanted to like do anything. Yeah, but
he still escaped with her
because she opened the door. Like, what are you just gonna stay in a cell? I think he was very reluctant because he felt so powerless. But now that they're free and he can actually do something, it's good that
he actually like was willing to do it her way and like didn't leave her behind, and
yeah, I think
didn't just take the money. So I mean, yes, there was parts of this episode that I feel like were necessary for the story. I just felt like it kind of dragged a little bit longer than I wanted. The art style was amazing. It was really cool. The battling, like the gambling and stuff, like was pretty sweet. And like at a certain point, you like thought she was gonna get caught. Like, I don't know. There was some I can't talk. Suspenseful things during that scene. That was pretty cool. I liked their new outfits. I thought those were pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was probably the last time we see those outfits.
Yeah, I know. And then, yeah, I don't know. And then the final scene was amazing, super intense.
Right.
Like, I didn't get teary-eyed, but I would understand why people would.
Right. Because they were crying, too.
Yeah, like...
Omega and Wrecker were crying. I don't think Hunter cried. But...
No, if I was, like, watching it, like, by myself without Miles trying to beat me up in the middle of that scene... He was like climbing on me and like trying to make me play Paw Patrol with him. I was like, bro, I'm trying to watch this scene. So like, if I did a live reaction, I probably would have like teared up.
Had one tear, not two.
Maybe. It's just kind of hard because like we know that they were far apart for a while, but then we didn't really get to feel it. Like kind of how you said you kind of wanted it not them to end up right away together, you know?
Oh, that means we were wrong about you were wrong about your theory.
Which what? I don't remember.
That they were both ship groups were going to go to Pabu. And this random, oh, hey, I guess we were back together again.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen, which I'm happy.
Are you happy with that they found each other so quick?
No.
No.
It is what it is. I didn't think it was going to be that fast because I was just thinking, okay, this whole season is going to be them in two separate groups trying to find each other.
Like a Stranger Things feel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like maybe...
In finale, the team is together. Or
even if like they were in communication with each other, but like they couldn't meet up together. So they were like working separately, but also in communicate, or they have to like coordinate with each other, like try and get stuff done. But like, I don't know. It is what it is. So now I guess it's just going to be, because like last week, okay, we were thinking, okay, it's going to be, going into the season, okay, the whole season is going to be Hunter and Wrecker trying to rescue Omega. And then we're like, okay, well, maybe now it's going to be Omega and Crosshair trying to rescue Hunter and Wrecker at some point when they go to Tantus.
Get caught.
But like now the band is back together. So it's like, what exactly is the plot going to be?
Mm-hmm.
And so, which I think it's cool that like we don't know, like we don't have it all figured out. So it's like we don't know what to expect. But is it going to center around trying to free the clones on Tantus? Like, is that what it's going to end up being? I don't know. It's going to be hard to...
It's hard to say. Like, it could be that, or it could be them running the whole time. Because I feel
Right.
like at this point, Omega is like the most wanted person in the galaxy.
Right. Omega and Crosshair. And so it's like,
Yeah.
but like, they're going to ditch that cargo ship that they stole, and they're going to be back on the H&M, and they're just going to leave. Unless the Empire, like, shows up, like, right away next episode.
Why they're lollygagging, staring at him.
Right. But, like, I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I don't think so.
But
like, I feel like a lot of this season now, I mean, we're kind of jumping the gun, but we're going to get a lot of suspenseful, like, not trusting Crosshair, and then Omega, like, vouching for him, and
right.
there'll be some, like, unnecessary drama situations, and then he'll most likely sacrifice his life for someone.
Yeah, probably. I'm just looking forward to next week to see how that tension, like, is like
figures out.
Yeah, because Hunter and Wrecker were not happy to see him.
No.
So, but I don't know. Anyway, but I liked the episode.
Yeah.
I like I said, I liked how it was like trust building between the two, Crosshair and Omega. I thought it was super funny how Omega was so good at gambling. Because, like, I remember it was back in season 1, I think it was when she was making money for Sid in the bar, like playing space chess or the Jarek or whatever it was. So I thought it was funny. And now this is like a new game, though. That wasn't Sabak.
No, it wasn't really. I don't think so. Well, it's not the version that we know how to play.
Yeah, it's not like one that you can buy the game and play at home.
It was Sabak cards.
Yeah, it was same shaped cards, unless that's just like all of our cards are all square rectangles in our games that we make.
It could be one of those things. Those are just cards.
Right. So, but I thought that Imperial officer was an interesting design. Like, we never seen like an officer like
fat,
not skinny and in shape. I don't know.
I think but they don't last very long.
Like, I don't remember any though. Like, off the top of my head,
it seems like he's been put on this planet and he's never left, and because of that he's been.
I don't know. I also feel like because he had like a Scottish accent, kind of like. I wonder if this story happened to like parallel something in Scottish history or something. I don't know. I don't know anything about history, but I know they do that in Clone Wars a lot. Like, or in alien groups, they're all based on other cultures and their history and stuff. So I don't know if you're a history buff. Did this episode have anything to do with Scotland? Be interesting to find out. But yeah, the ending was great because like the shift in music, like it was like their one of their main themes or whatever, them embracing and celebrating, and then it turns like dark and scary. Big standoff at the end where they're staring at each other. So I thought it was good at the end.
For sure, yeah.
But yeah, so we might as well just jump into scene by scene. So immediately the ship is completely destroyed, basically going through hyperspace and it's falling apart. Classic Star Wars, ship's never working. But this is like really bad. All systems are failing, and they get ripped out of hyperspace, and they crash land. And I believe, I don't know if it was the city or the planet's name, but it was Lau, Lau. So I don't know if it's a city or the planet, but they crash land at/on Lau, and the ship is beyond repair. And what do you think of they crash, whatever, and they're yelling at each other, and Batcher is trying to get out, and Tech's chair is blocking it, and he's just not even moving. He's like letting the dog like. I was like, dude, just get up for a second. Like, I don't know.
It was funny.
Kind of funny. But immediately Crosshair is in like survival mode, and he's like, we got to get out of here right away. They're going to be searching for the ship. But Omega's like, we got to send him a signal, like to Hunter and Wrecker. We got to do all that stuff. Like, we don't got time. We got to go. So they go.
Well, and the thing died too. They couldn't even send a signal.
Right.
But Omega's like, oh, let's repair. this is gonna take forever to repair, and he's like, we're not gonna repair this.
Yeah, and so, it then jumps back to Mount Tantus, and Dr. Hemlock goes and confronts Nalase in her cell, and he's like, it's kind of interesting that after all these months of testing Omega, she's had no positive results, but the moment Emery does the blood testing, it's an immediate positive for the M count transfer. And Nalase like, oh, there's always going to be false positives. You can't. There's no perfect testing out there. Blah blah blah, and Hemlock's not buying it. So I don't know. I feel bad for Nalase. I think she's finally going to die this season. I'm sad.
Yeah, probably.
It's weird because like before Bad Batch, like no one cared about Nalase, and now I'm like worried about her. Like she's just like trying to like not be evil, but she's being forced to, and now she's trying to like save someone's life, and now she's like held captive still.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel bad for her, but hopefully, if she has to go out, it's her saving somebody rather than just
going out
because they execute her. But we'll see. So we're back in the city. Crosshair and Omega, they're walking through the city trying to like be all nondescript, but there's an Imperial presence on this planet. What'd you think of the stormtrooper that had like the poncho on?
I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of cool. Never seen a.
It reminded me of when Rex had his on.
Oh yeah. This is cool. I don't know. I thought it was cool. I think people need a cosplay.
Yeah,
that guy. That'd be kind of cool.
There definitely will be.
Because
I want to see cosplay of this version of the trooper.
Of the stormtrooper with that helmet. Yeah, it's a whole new helmet design. So I'm sure there's some people out there already working on it, already have it.
Probably already have it, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool to see all the cosplay that comes out of this season of Bad Batch, because there's a lot of stuff like Dr. Hemlock. That guy's a cool guy. It's a simple thing, but like doing the hair like him, doing his outfit, I think it'd be cool cosplay. But you got to have good hair for that, though.
Yeah, don't pick me.
Just comb it forward, Drew. I could probably.
You could probably pull them off. You could do it.
But then I have to
shave
my facial hair. I don't know about that.
You have to do what I did over the weekend.
That'd be kind of rough for me to do. But I don't know. I'm not a cosplay kind of person.
You could be. Everyone could be.
Well, anyone could be. You're right. But
ask Grace. She'd be like, "Yeah, you are. Everyone is."
I don't know, Grace. If you're listening, what would
it take?
What would be the primary, like the main suggestion of a cosplay that I could, like, who do you think I could pull off? I could maybe pull off
Yoda. What?
Kanan Jarrus.
Yeah, you have to grow your hair out.
Grow my hair out, or just enough to make it look
shield.
Or grow it out just enough to like where it's the end of season 4 when he just like cuts his hair off and it's just all like choppy and short. True. I could do that.
Or just have a wig.
Yeah. If I'm gonna do a cosplay, I'm gonna grow the whole hair out, do the man bun and everything.
You should do it.
But that's just a lot of.
If I had hair again, I would do it.
But you don't, so.
No. Well, you know.
What bald characters are there in Lobot from Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah. Well, what's that bounty hunter dude?
Which one?
The one that you like see for like 5 seconds in Empire Strikes Back.
I mean Dengar?
Yeah, I could do Dengar.
Bald?
I think so.
I thought he looked like a mummy. I thought he just had like a turban.
Yeah, but you could like turban it.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm talking about a bald Star Wars character that you
Mace Windu.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Did you hear what Samuel L. Jackson said recently?
No.
Like he's super on board.
He wants to do it so bad
the comeback. He actually like people always say he's like this rumors, right? He wants to do it or he just makes some passing, but he's like super gun ho about coming back because he thinks Mace Windu survived the fall.
Well, he knows his Star Wars then, because no one.
I'm saying
unless
if they were
Tech is actually dead in the show, he will be the first person in Star Wars to fall to his death and die.
So the best chance they had to bring him back was be the person who saved Grogu from the temple and then died going. That would have been I would have been fine with that. Then bring him back.
Like he fell, and then all of a sudden Grogu is like there, and then he grabs him, and
or he just runs back to the temple.
Yeah,
because he wasn't at the temple. He was just at the. I guess was the Emperor's or the Chancellor's office was that at the Senate building?
Oh yeah, it was, huh?
But but is that at that Senate building or is that a separate location? I don't know.
That's a good question.
I'm assuming it's at the Senate building.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
I think so.
But maybe a what if. They could do a what if.
Live action what if?
Ooh, that'd be fun. Then they could bring him back for that. Then he'd be.
They have to like de-age him.
Dude, he already looks.
I mean,
good for
better like than Luke for sure.
He's like 75 years old. They could. It'd be easier to de-age Samuel L. Jackson than it would be to de-age Hayden Christensen, and they did a great job de-aging Hayden Christensen. So,
because that boy's on his tractor all the time. He got wrinkly from the sun.
Something like that. But we're here for Bad Batch. I don't even know how we got on that thing. But they're back in the city. They're wearing their clone uniform or their cloning uniforms, whatever. And so they're like, we got to get
their jail uniforms,
basically. And so, because like they're gonna stick out too much, and so they steal some clothes, which I guess is just classic storytelling: is to steal someone's clothes hanging up to dry. But
in like a gloomy, wet planet.
Yeah, it was cold because you could see their breath.
When they crashed, I was like, dude, is this man or it almost kind of looked like
what?
I was gonna say the Mandalorian planet, but I know the name. Yeah, it kind of looked like it, like with the spiky, like the spike stuff, crystals coming out of the ground.
Yeah, a little bit, but
that would have been crazy if they landed there. Like, how would they have got out of that situation?
I don't know. That would have been really weird if they did that.
That'd have been kind of cool.
But they start making their way through the city, and they make their way to the spaceport because they want to sneak onto a ship and just get off planet. And Crosshair, he's like ready just to kill everyone. I can take out half of them before they even know what was going on. And Omega's like, no, like, let's just see if we can do this a little nicer. And she kind of goes up to the attendant at the whatever, and hey, we need 2 tickets to get off planet. And they're like, well, what's your chain? You got your chain codes? I totally forgot about that. They need their chain codes, which they don't have. So she's like, oh, we lost them, but can we still get on? No. And she's like, well, was there a monetary way we could get through this without? And at first I thought this lady was going to be like, guards are trying to do a
get them,
and they're going to have to run. But she's like, are you suggesting that I could take a bribe? And Omega's like, if that's what you want to call it, because she didn't want to say anything directly. And she's like, all right, fine. But $15,000 a person, so 30,000 credits. And so we don't know how much credits are. Like,
yeah.
I always just assume it's like $1. Like 1 credit is $1, but I don't know if it's like that or not.
That's so much money to find off the street.
Right. So I'm thinking it's more like $3,000.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
If I had to guess. But I don't know. It could be like $30,000 still, just because you don't want to get caught over $3,000 if you get caught by the Imperials.
Yeah.
Presence. So You gotta make it at least worth your while. So maybe $30,000 is what 30,000 credits is, but who knows?
It's a lot of money.
And so, but hey,
but then they give that kid like $5K then.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the desperate friend.
But I guess the cost of living might be different too. Like $5K to them might be like $500. You know,
maybe. I don't think there's really any.
We don't have a way to know the price of.
Yeah. Who knows? We got to get a whole like Star Wars economics book to like be made.
There's definitely something on Wikipedia that tells us how much their money is actually worth.
Maybe.
Chat, look it up.
But they start walking back into the city trying to find a way to make money, and they go by a bar and they see some Imperial stormtroopers walk out with like credits in their hand, and Omega's like, I got an idea. And so she goes in there and they sit at the table and there's a Trandoshan playing whatever card game they're playing, and he's like the best, taking everyone's money. And Crosshair's like, well, we don't have any money to bet with. And she's like, well, he doesn't know that. I thought that was kind of funny. And Crosshair's like, oh my gosh, we're all going to get caught. We're going to get killed, whatever. But immediately Omega just keeps winning. Which they set that up in season 1 that she's good at gambling. So I thought that was
kind of
cool.
crazy.
I thought that was cool.
Like, you're watching a kid's show and it encourages you to lie, steal, and gamble all in within like 3 minutes of this episode.
All that stuff.
Steal clothes.
Yep.
Bribe people and lie and gamble. Classic Star Wars.
Classic Star Wars. But it paid off because she gets all this money, and then this Imperial officer comes in. I didn't catch his name. I probably should have looked it up. But
we'll just call him Big Juicy.
Big Juicy. I thought this is Big Juicy back here. Isn't that what you named?
Oh, true. That is
trooper
Big
in my
Juicy.
background. But I never agreed to that, so you can call whoever you want.
Big Juicy. Could be more than one Big Juicy.
This guy. How about this guy in the show is Lil Juicy? How about that?
Okay, Lil Juicy.
Lil Juicy.
Little.
Officer Juicy.
Officer Juicy.
But he comes in and he notices that it's buzzing in the bar, and he's like, oh, it's pretty busy in here. That's good for us. And so he goes to the bartender, who's a droid, and just collects his tax or whatever you want to call it. Fee. And sees Omega doing well, and the guy walks over and tells the Trandoshan to get out of here. And so he sits down. He's like, all right, well, maybe we can play a game and you can play someone that actually knows what they're doing. I was like, okay, this is going to be interesting how this plays out. And everyone in the crowd is like watching because they're just amazed at how good Omega is. And then it's this like showdown between this little girl and an Imperial officer. And he thinks that he won. And Omega plays 3 cards to beat him.
Exodia.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know what she played. I was like, whatever. It was a orange, purple, and blue card or something like that. I guess it was like a royal flush, basically. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But she wins 20,000 credits from him. So that was cool. And he like willingly like was like, hey, she won fair and square. Like, we're not gonna like just not whatever. So we should mention that halfway through this match, he kicks the dog out because it's like growling at him and stuff. And so Crosshair brings Batcher out. So Crosshair comes back in or whatever, and Omega collects the money, and her and Crosshair are about to leave, but then the officer gets a message from one of the troopers that there was a found Imperial shuttle that crashed, He's like, I don't understand. There wasn't supposed to be an arrival today, but then he immediately connects the dots. So like my question is, if he didn't have the information, was he going to let her go with the 20,000 credits? Like, was he actually that fair?
I don't think so.
Because it wasn't until after he got that information that he said, "Oh, you have a fine for gambling because it's illegal."
I think he was just gonna do that no matter what, because he seems
I
like
don't know, because they were already walking out and he wasn't following them.
Yeah, but he seems like kind of scrummy. He made the droid pay a fine.
Yeah, that's just part of being occupied. You got to pay your dues for your protection.
I think like every bad guy in Star Wars, they're always scrummy. Besides Thrawn. Thrawn would have let him win, but then Thrawn would have won anyways, though.
He would have recruited Omega. Hey, you want to join my team? I see a lot of potential in you. But I don't know. Part of me wants to think that he was actually going to let her go scot-free, but I don't know. But
we'll never know.
So he charges a 10,000 credit fee, which was half of his losses. But then she counted the money that she had left over, and she had 35,000 credits. So she had a total of 45,000 credits that she won from having no money at all. But cool. So she has the 30,000. So it's enough for 2 tickets, and they have leftover money. Great. So they leave, and Batcher is nowhere to be seen. And so there was this kid that was like selling Melu runs or whatever. It looked like Melu runs.
Yeah, it did.
Fruit out there. This face is covered. Like, we don't know what he looks like, whatever. And he's like, well, I know. I know where it went, but it's going to cost you. I want 10,000 credits. And Crash was like, I'm not having any of this bull crap. He, gets up to the kid. All right, fine. 5,000. That's my final offer. So that leaves them with 30,000, just enough to get the tickets. Perfect. Works out just fine. But Omega is like, well, I'm going to get Batcher, but Crusher's like, well, I'm going to the shuttle, whatever. And
Transport.
So the spaceport. And so, but she's like, well, I don't care. You can take all the money. I'll figure out my own way. Like, if you gotta go, you gotta go. And she's like, I'm not leaving him behind. She helped escape.
Without her, we wouldn't be here.
Right. And so she just leaves, and Crosshair starts walking away. Then he stops and looks back, and like, all right, he has a soft heart. So there's some, his story arc of not leaving people behind. Like, we saw that last season, and then this season, like, he was like, well, I'd leave you no problem. But now doesn't even believe that. So he's having a change of heart more and more, that he's actually caring about people, even though he doesn't want to directly express those feelings and thoughts. But so she goes to this spot that is kind of like a not a warehouse. What's again, an open air warehouse called?
Freight. It's like
I'm trying to think of a word. It's on the tip of my tongue. Like a
docking port.
Docking port. I don't know. Whatever. So there's all these cages of animals, and okay, there's 2 things that they did in this scene, that mimicked Jurassic Park. So like when you first get there, you hear like one of the bigger cages like being carried or whatever, and it sounds like the Velociraptor.
Yeah.
That they have in the cages in the first Jurassic Park one. And then later on, when they all get let it go, those ones like they look like ostriches or whatever. Reminded me of that scene when they're being chased by all those
little tiny dinosaur things.
Like the ones that are like, I don't know, like 10 feet tall or whatever. Like before like the fence scene or whatever, when they climb the fence. Like, it reminded me of that. Like, this is like
that
definitely
Stampede.
Yeah, the Stampede thing. Like, they definitely stole from Jurassic Park. They should have had that Imperial officer guy like sit on a toilet. And
then that would have been dope.
Then we would have known
like that too when like it just the monster grabbed him and pulled him in and ate him. Spoilers, but
spoilers. Yeah. But Omega, she gets there and she like starts to climb in or whatever, and then Crosshair is like, "All right, I'm here, whatever. I'll help you, but I want you to know that my skills are not being utilized." And she's like, "Noted." And so they start sneaking around, and then immediately, little Juicy. I knew you were going to come here. You think I don't know what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, you had an animal, but you need a pet license to have an animal. And now we're going to charge you. So I want $30,000 or all my money back, whatever you said. And then you're going to get arrested, blah, blah, blah. And so they're surrounded. And Omega just sighs. Is like, all right, Crosshair, we can do it your way. And so he just starts shooting everybody. And
that was pretty cool.
Omega runs to the control panel and opens all the cages.
Pushes one button, everything opens.
Which is this
typical Star Wars.
And all these animals, alien creatures, monsters, they get released. So there's like little ones, little birds, and things crawling around. And like you got like these, like we mentioned, like these big giant ostrich looking things. They're like tall, skinny dinosaur things that just start running and stampeding, and there's just chaos everywhere. And this whole time we see that there's like this big cage with some giant monster. We don't know where it is. And so there's just chaos, nonstop chaos. Crosshair is trying to shoot everybody he can. Omega gets Batcher. They run to the cargo ship, and she starts, doing what she has to do to steal it. And then Crosshair makes his way towards the ship. And while I think it's after he gets on or is about to get on, that's when the officer,
you forgot the part. He picked up the money too.
Crosshair?
Mm-hmm.
Did he?
Yeah. Because the officer dropped the money when Batcher attacked him. And then so Crosshair ran by him, scooped up the bag.
Oh, I didn't know.
So they have 30K too.
Interesting.
Which I assume because we saw that there'll be something that they have to pay 30K for, and Omega's like, I got it.
Yeah. I can't believe I missed that. But anyway, big little Juicy, he falls on the ground, and then the big cage opens up. And we don't see what's in it fully. We just see some big giant tentacles come reach out and grab.
Suck them in.
So I'm guessing it could have been like a Rathtar or something.
It kind of seemed like the technicals like remind me of those things in like episode 7 that Han and them were running from.
Yeah, the Rathars.
Yeah, that's what I would assume it was.
But I don't think we'll ever know. But
we'll probably won't know. Were you hoping to have a Zilbeast come out of one of those cages?
No, I wasn't expecting that at all. I think
that
it was
just so cool.
I think it was just native.
Yeah.
Animals to this
But
planet.
Do you think they're shipping them to there to get tested on?
No.
No?
I don't think that. I don't know. Maybe. Could be. Maybe that's any time the Empire is collecting animals or just doing it for research purposes. But I don't know. It's kind of weird.
I guess it doesn't matter.
Unless they were just all pets and no one had license and they just confiscated. Just confiscated.
But it was a cargo ship. It seemed like they're loading up that ship.
Well, yeah, because they had to confiscate all these animals, and they're like, we need a big cargo ship to transport all these. Yeah. So someone had a pet Rathtar that got taken because he didn't have his animal license.
Little Jimmy was taken.
Oh, that's so sad.
He ate good though. He ate little Juicy and.
Yep. And so, yeah, they jump on Crosshair Omega. They get out of there right away, and they're safe. They're going through hyperspace, and she's like, "I sent a encoded message to Crosshair and Hunter. Hopefully, they get it. We're gonna meet at some remote place." And Crosshair was like, "Okay, but the ship is gonna be easily tracked, so we have to ditch it right away." So she's just hoping that the rendezvous point works.
Mm-hmm.
And so they get to the system. Now, I have to go back and look from season 1. But was this the moon on Ryloth? Because remember when they meet like Hera's family or whatever, and they get like the weapon shipment from,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like they go to this moon that's like breathable. It's
That's what it seemed like, because it wasn't a planet.
Because there was a planet, and then like there's like 2 planets, and then this was like the moon.
Yeah.
And I remember they left Ryloth before and went to the moon to do
Mhm.
that the weapon swap with the Bad Batch. And so like I have to go back to season 1 and just look at that scene to see if it's the same 2 planets.
Background.
But if it is, maybe we'll see Hera again next episode.
That'd be cool.
And some Cham Sandu. Maybe we could actually see how Hera's mom dies.
Ooh.
Which would be cool because we don't know how that happened because she's still alive last time we see her. So I'm hoping that'd be cool to see Hera again.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe not. Maybe it's not the same moon, but who knows? But they get to this planet, and then we see the moon, and they see the M&H parked on the surface. And so Omega and Crosshair land. Omega runs out, and first person to walk out is Wrecker, and he's like, well, this is a great sight or something like that. And they run to each other, and they're both crying. The tears animated tears going down their cheeks, and very emotional.
Yeah.
He's like, we haven't stopped looking for you at all. We've gone around the galaxy 4 times trying to find you, blah, blah, blah. And then we see in the background Hunter come through the door, and it was actually 5 times we went across the galaxy to find you. We never stopped. We never gave up, but you found us first.
You ended up finding us first.
Yeah. And so that was cool. And so then she runs and embraces Hunter, and he's like, we're glad to have you back. We missed you, but how did you escape on your own? And she's like, I had help. And she was like happy to say that she had help. And then you see Hunter kind of lean his head over to look, and then you see Wrecker turn around, and you see Crosshair walking down the ramp, and the music changed, and it was intense. It was rough. No words were spoken. It was just complete silence. Hunter and Wrecker, they stood there like you could see that they were kind of like angry in their
Wrecker's
face.
eyebrows like went like angry,
and so like then they did like a wide shot of them. Like I like when Star Wars does those wide shots when it's like you just see the whole scene in one thing. So they're each on their ship sides, and they're looking at each other with the lights, coming out from their ships. And I don't know. Okay, this is I don't know if they do this a lot or not, but like I feel so they kind of had like a shot of just Crosshair, and usually I feel like in movies and stuff when you do that, they zoom in on the character slowly. But this one they were zooming out on him, and I just felt like that.
It was different.
It felt different when they did that. I don't know. Maybe they do that more often than I think. But I noticed that when I was watching that, they were zooming out when it was a close up on Crosshair, and then it went back to Hunter and Wrecker just staring back, and that's it.
Yeah.
Super intense at the end, cliffhanger. So we don't know what's gonna happen next. Like obviously it's gonna be.
I do want to say I did call something.
What?
The original trailer, when I said it looked like Crosshair's gun, most likely was now because they're together.
Oh, from that opening scene in the trailer.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know yet. It could still be someone else,
bruh.
It could be someone else. Now, he could still be in that ship, but maybe that person was someone else.
But
also,
they're together now already.
They're together.
It is kind of surprising how fast they got to this point. Like, I didn't think at the end of this episode that was going to happen.
Yeah, I didn't. I thought they weren't going to. The two groups weren't going to get back till like second half of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't know about you, but 27 minutes, like, it felt longer than that.
it does. These episodes,
like, there's a part where I'm like, okay, it's done, and then they cut to like them landing. I was like, oh wait, they're not done yet. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, I didn't. When I watched it today, I didn't even. For some reason, I didn't even think to look at the time, like before I clicked on it. I just was excited to watch it and I just clicked on it. So I was like, I didn't even know how long the episode was. It could have been like an hour and a half long, and I didn't even know.
You
like,
didn't even know.
But yeah, so like we said earlier, we don't know how it's going to play out next for the rest of the season. But next episode, obviously, there's going to be some sort of conflict.
Hunter, yeah.
You know, Hunter and Wrecker are definitely not going to be trusting Crosshair, but like I think you said earlier that Omega is going to vouch for Crosshair.
Yeah, and I think it could get to the point where they can't find them, and he gets desperate, and then he's like, "Hey, like Omega, come back, and then your brothers can have Tech," and then like they show Tech in jail and all this stuff, and
could be. I'm just going to go on and say it's probably not going to be towards the end of the season that they're going to get information about Tech, but
no.
But now this whole season is going a lot faster than we thought, so it could be some Tech action.
Well, this is episode 4. How many episodes? 16?
15 episodes.
15, so still got a lot of time left, and the group's already back together except for Tech.
So do you want to know next week's title?
What was this week's title?
A Different Approach.
Oh,
so basically, Omega had to embrace a different approach to things, and Crosshair had to embrace a different approach to things. So do you want to know next week's episode?
I think before that, we should drink some coffee.
Oh, yeah, we're
suspense.
Kind of going fast. We should have probably done this during the gambling scene. But yes, if you have conflict with an estranged sibling,
yep,
and you need to talk things through, what better way to do that than to have a cup of coffee and or tea? And coincidentally, our sponsor for today is Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. So if you like coffee or tea, take a listen to this commercial.
Hey everyone, Andrew here. I'm pleased to tell you that the sponsor of today's episode is Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea. If you don't know anything about Wesley Andrews, you definitely should. They're an award-winning coffee roaster and shop in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they make fantastic coffee. The awesome thing is that whether you live in the Twin Cities or not, you can get their coffee beans delivered straight to your door by ordering them online. They even have a subscription service that ensures you never run out of amazing coffee. If you've been looking for some new coffee to try or a way to elevate your normal coffee routine, now's your chance. Head over to wesleyandrews.cc, use the code EMPIRERADIO, that's with a capital E and a capital R with no space at checkout, to get 15% off your first purchase of any bags of coffee or a coffee subscription. I can't think of a better deal. Get 15% off some great coffee, support a small business, and support your favorite Star Wars podcast. In the words of Emperor Palpatine, do it.
Do it. All right. Do you want to know next week's title?
Sure.
It is somewhat ambiguous, but it's called The Return. So this could be referring to the return of Crosshair. But it also, if it's Ryloth, it could be the return to Ryloth and seeing the Syndulla family.
Return of
Crosshair or Tech.
Cause
honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. Or that, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if next week it only takes place on Mount Tantus and we don't see anything with
The Bad Batch?
It was the Bad Batch.
Oh, I hope not. That'd be annoying.
Really?
Yeah, because then we were like have to wait another week to figure out if Crosshair got beat up or not.
Yeah. Well, they did it in season 1 with
Star Wars
with the Ryloth.
It's probably gonna happen.
Like they showed the Ryloth stuff a whole episode without Bad Batch, so they could do that again here. But like, I'm also looking at the schedule, and so next week is 1 episode, but the following week is 2 episodes on the 13th.
Oh wow!
So like, there's gonna be a big 2-episode story arc in 2 weeks. So like, they could do a break in the middle where they're just on Mount Tantus, dealing with whatever they're doing. Nala Se might try and do something, free some more clones or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, or like you said, maybe it could be Echo and Rex returning to the group. Maybe something like that. I don't know. It could mean a million things. Return could refer to 1,000 things. So either way, I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. I think, I don't know. I don't have really any predictions because I don't know what they have to do. I mean, we know that they're gonna go back and try to save more clones.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty much all we know now. I don't know.
So I'm trying to think of like other places that they've been in the first 2 seasons where they could return somewhere. Like, I don't think they're going to return to like Sid because she screwed them over. I don't know any other things that they could return to, so that would be significant. Unless it's like somewhere, unless it's something with Camino, like they return to Camino somehow, like they. But I don't know. We won't know until next week.
We won't know until next week.
All right. Well, that's the episode. So we might as well just transition over to everyone's favorite time of every episode, voicemail time.
It's voicemail time.
All right. Cool. All right. Well, we only have 1 voicemail tonight. But that's fine because the streak is still alive. And this is a short episode anyway. So I know some of you like don't like our long episodes, so this is a short one for all of you out there that like the short episodes. But let's listen to a voicemail from Owen because he's always been sending some good ones lately. So let's take a listen.
Hey, Empire Radio, Owen here with another voicemail. My question for you guys is, what's your favorite opening scene in all of Star Wars? My favorite is actually Episode 7 because the whole thing on Jakku just looks really good, and Kylo Ren's just an actually cool villain in the sequel trilogy in that scene. So that's my favorite. But yeah, that's my question for you guys. Thanks, may the Force be with you. Bye.
All right, cool. Well, that is a good question, Owen. Very interesting. Now, he didn't specify movie or shows.
I was going to say, he said all of Star Wars,
So he's in Star Wars. So I think we could each do a movie, and if we want to like add like a show or like an episode opening of like a certain like series or something. But I think for me, Revenge of the Sith has a cool opening. Just that space battle above Coruscant. But like
they go down like this. That
like round, they went take the scenic route.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of like
that is a cool opening.
What the opening scenes are for all the other movies. Because like Episode 4 is, Leia getting.
They're all shipped. They always start in a planet, like flying. And like Rogue One is like, and like.
You got the ship come, the Imperial office. You get Krennic going into the planet to get Galen Erso.
That's a cool scene. That whole Galen Erso scene is pretty cool.
That's cool.
Pretty intense. Starting off hot.
But like, how did like a Phantom Menace start?
The Phantom Menace.
I don't even remember. And I know episode 2 is like, Padme comes to Coruscant and her ship gets blown up. Like I know that's episode 2.
True. I was.
No,
the Phantom Menace is when Obi-Wan and
Qui-Gon
and they go to go meet with
Trade Federation.
Federation.
Is that how it opens up?
Yeah, it opens up with them landing.
Okay.
And then they leave, and then it was like a trap, and the shield's up. Remember that part?
Yep.
And then that room gets smoky, and then they start just destroying people. And then that was the first time we saw speed running.
And we never saw it ever again.
That was super cool. Yeah, we never got to see it again.
I wonder if they're just never going to bring that back because this looks stupid.
I thought it looked sick, dude. Yeah, Obi-Wan can never run the same again, huh?
I guess not. It's like,
unless
it's like a one-time thing you're allowed to use once as a Force user. Like,
I feel like it was useful, like not that useful in that scene. Like, well, unless like in the Clone Wars, when Anakin and Obi-Wan are running, like what if they're like having that conversation, but it's actually them speed running the whole time?
Like because it's zoomed in on their face. Like,
yeah, we don't realize it.
We can't tell. Maybe
that'd be funny, dude.
See, episode 6 is on Tatooine at Jabba's palace.
Mm-hmm.
Does episode Empire Strikes Back, is that like the probe droid getting launched and landing?
Yep.
Okay. I do like episode 7, like he mentioned, because it's cool. It's like,
what's episode 8?
That's when like the planet is getting the rebel base is being evacuated and like the big ships come.
Oh yeah.
And then Poe does his like, I need to talk to General Hux.
Mm-hmm.
That scene, which was kind of cool, I guess, but then the rest of the movie didn't work out too well, so then they kind of ruined it. And then episode 9 was the light speed skipping thing, right?
I don't remember.
When was the last time you watched episode 9?
It has to be a couple years.
Yeah. How did Solo start? Was it just him running back to like where he stayed?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's not like too many like really good openings to Star Wars. So that's for movies. So what was your movie opening that you liked?
I think Rogue One.
Rogue One. Okay, and then other openers for shows.
My favorite one is Mando season 1.
And that's when he gets that first bounty.
Yeah, and he like
on
lands,
the ice planet,
and like they just show the thing beeping, and then he walks into like the that one's really cool. Season 2 was really cool too, because that's when they go to they're on Tatooine.
Yeah, it's the Crate Dragon episode. But how does what's the first scene though?
I think it was like another bar, and they enter that bar, like cantina. I think.
I don't know. I can't remember. But I really like this. I don't know if this counts, but episode 9 of season 7 of Clone Wars. That's like the final 4 episode arc, where it's like Obi-Wan and Anakin on that bridge, and it's like.
Oh, I feel like that counts because it's like a separate arc.
That, and it's like it had the special opening with like the special music, and like it was like Lucasfilm limited production or whatever, and like they would, and like that opening scene is like Obi-Wan like hits that big like bomb or whatever and like saves Cody's life, and it's just like the smoke going by, and this is like super intense. But yeah, that's my answers. Any other cool openers that you can think of, Drew?
I mean, there's so many cool openers, and like the Ahsoka show had a cool opener.
That was her at the ruins, right? Getting the. That was cool.
And she goes and cuts the hole and stuff.
cuts the hole and she fights those HK droids or whatever. That was a cool scene.
No, season 2, Mando. That's not the opener. The opener is when he goes and he goes to that he's walking and he with Grogu and they go to that fighting bar.
Oh, when they're walking through the streets of Minneapolis.
Yeah. That was a cool opener scene because like you get all of it. The guy gets hung and stuff. I forgot about that. I'm watching it right now.
Yeah, that's how it opens up.
It's like they just go
Because
to
then
an
he's
MMA
like,
fight.
there's a guy it's like, I hear you have a contact that has that's a Mandalorian or something. He's like, yeah, he lives on Tatooine. So that's how he goes back to Tatooine, and that's when Cobb Vanth is dealing with the Crate Dragon stuff.
Mm-hmm. That was a cool scene.
And the spice traders and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was a good one. What's season 3's opener?
That was the baptism of the new recruit, the new Mando, like he's staying in the water, and then like that turtle alligator shows up, and then Mando comes and saves the day.
Yeah, it's not the same feel as season 1 and 2.
Oh, we're forgetting the Obi-Wan series, the Order 66 thing.
That was starts.
Yeah,
dude, I need to watch the Obi-Wan show again, dude.
Yeah, I like that opening scene because it's just like, or anytime you see Order 66, I just think it's super interesting.
Oh yeah, it's like a montage of Obi-Wan's life.
Well, that's a recap, yeah.
That was pretty cool recap.
But recaps don't count as openers. But the opening scene was
all the kids.
The Padawans with Reva there, and then they get attacked, and it's the Master trying to get them out, and then.
Gosh, I need to watch this show, dude.
Yeah.
Do you remember that actually might be the best opener because the hype from like we started that show.
And then that whole episode, that first episode was amazing.
Well, we started it and all of a sudden we're like, Order 66 already? Like we're like freaking out. And then we see clones in live action like for the first time. Jeez, I forgot how cool that scene. Dude, I gotta watch that show. I think we're sleeping on that show.
Yeah, I think it's better than what a lot of people think it is. Remember it as. I'm not saying it's a perfect show. There's issues with it, but I think it's one of those things where people are going to look back on that and like it a lot more than they did when they first watched it. So
and like we enjoyed it. I think like yes, the Reva stuff. There's like parts of it are like, but overall, like the Obi-Wan and Vader fights were so cool.
Oh, cool! Little Leia.
Oh, and she's amazing.
Vivian,
actor.
I can't remember her last name, but her first name is Vivian. She's the GOAT basically at 10 years old.
Yeah,
I really hope she gets an opportunity to revise her role as Leia.
Yeah, as an older Leia,
as like a teenage Leia doing something. I think that'd be really cool. Now, they're probably not like. What are you supposed to do with like a senator's daughter? Like before the events.
Leia has a lot of books, so like there's.
Right.
Be scheming things, getting captured
again.
A bounty hunter could try to capture her.
Season 2 of Obi-Wan is just like Taken 2, where the daughter gets taken again.
Lord. Look at me, was like something like a bounty hunter kidnapped. Dude, that poor girl. Half her life she's been kidnapped.
She's always getting taken.
And then she always has to be like, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. Because she has to like.
She's been kidnapped twice.
Kidnapped twice. Sure. And kidnapped twice. Oh, this would be kidnapped twice, and then but captured a third time. And she was taken as a slave by Jabba.
Yeah.
Dang, she has a rough life, but yeah,
that's what made her stronger. You know,
yeah, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger, as the kids would say, right?
What the Queen says.
Yep. So yes. So thank you, Owen, for that.
Whatever happened to our friendly neighborhood pod racer?
Garrett? I don't know. He he
He's
won all
still
that
on this
money. And
He's still
he
on
won all that money and went on a vacation, and he never
He's on a
returned.
cruise still, or is like.
So I think maybe his story is over. I don't know. He's been absent in the Discord too, so he used to.
Maybe he never got off that boat.
I don't know. I think he's just living a high life. When he runs out of all of his money from his winnings, he's gonna come back. All right, I gotta get back to
that
some
story
racing.
just ended.
He's like, yeah, I went to this bar and I was playing this little girl with these cards, and she took all my money, and now I'm broke.
He's a little juicy.
Oh, that'd be kind of funny. But yeah, so thank you, Owen. Thank you for anyone who's listening, because this is a fun time. New episodes, new canon being released. But if you're new to Empire Radio and you want to get connected with us more, or if you're just an old time fan and you haven't connected with us as much as you could, here's how you can. In the description of wherever you're listening, there is a link. links.co/Empire Radio. Link spelled with 2 I's. Click that. It's a landing page for everything. And so if you want to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, follow us on YouTube, Twitch. If you want to send us send us a voicemail. Look, we just had one tonight. Back in the day, we used to get like 4, 5, 6 of them at a time. Tons of questions. So please send us in a voicemail if you've never sent one in. It's a lot of fun, especially you international people. We like hearing your accents. So please just send us a question. We always love non-Star Wars questions because this is episode 244. We've talked about Star Wars a lot. But if you want to ask us some random questions about anything that's family friendly, please send in a voicemail. We'd love to hear from you. If you ever want to send us an email, there's a link for our email. We're part of needlesslynerdy.com, which is an entertainment network that we're part of. So go check that out. If you want to find some more nerdy podcasts and articles and content like that, go check them out. I think that is everything.
Yeah.
So if you're made it this far, this weekend, Drew and I will be doing a YouTube exclusive review of Avatar: The Last Airbender live action remake on Netflix. And so that's just going to be on YouTube. So because we want to get some people to go over there and follow us on YouTube. So if you've watched that show, you get to hear our thoughts on it too. So go check that out. I finished it. Drew's still working his way through it, but this weekend it should be up probably on Sunday because we're going to record on Saturday. But that's about it. Anything else, Drew?
No, that's it for me.
All right, cool. Well, we can get out of here then. So you have been listening to another Bad Batch-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And may the Force be with you.
Always.